If you haven't already done so, please update your name to have your four-letter code so that we know which program you're representing. As mentioned, there will be a lot of voting going on later in the assembly, so it's super important for all of us to know which program you represent, because quite frankly, if we cannot see the program that you represent, we can't allow you to vote. So that's super important. Um, but moving forward, again, thank you all for being here. The time is 12:03. I'm calling the meeting to order. This is going to be an action-packed agenda for today. So again, thank you all for bearing with us. For the last meeting of for the 44th assembly, so this is super exciting. Before we jump into the presidential address, I do want to there are some agenda items, uh, both additions and deletions actually. And I'm trying to pull up the agenda. I'm going to share my screen so that y'all can see exactly what I'm referring to when I do this. If you need me to, I'm going to share my screen after the presidential address to just show you exactly what I'm talking to because I don't have it pulled up right away. But the addition is going to be a resolution, an act from Michael, basically telling us what the GLAO budget is, the Graduate Legal Aid Office budget is. It's exactly formatted as the act that we already have. That needs to be added to the agenda. And then a deletion is just the bylaws discussion. We're not going to hold the bylaws vote today, simply because there's still work that we're working through. The bylaws committee is working through at this time. Keegan will touch more in depth about that, so we're just going to step away from an actual bylaws vote. So what I'm calling for is a motion to amend the agenda to add a motion to amend the agenda, essentially, just to cover those two things.
Happy Friday. Motion to amend the agenda.
Thank you.
Seconded.
Perfect. All in favor?
Yay.
Perfect.
Yay.
That works for me. So just moving along, we're just going to jump over to the presidential address. Just again, may I have a motion to move to presidential address?
Motion to move.
You
Seconded.
go. Seconded.
Aurora, the floor is yours.
I was almost about to get offended that nobody said anything. Uh, okay, so I have a lot of points to discuss. My meeting with President Pines got postponed because of a scheduling conflict to the 13th, but I did get a chance to speak with Dean Roth about a few of the issues that we discussed in the assembly chat. I'll cover those, as well as few of the updates that I just got from the Board of Trustees meeting. But before all of that, I want to congratulate Keegan. I know that GSG is going to be in great hands next year, so very happy about that. Okay, so diving first into Dean Rod's discussion. So basically, as we know that few of the students, their visa status changed. So all of the GAs have been returned. Um, some of them did not want to share their termination reason, but ISSS of course has it because it goes through ISSS, but the grad school doesn't know of those reasons if they didn't choose to share. Also, they were never stopped as students. We have verified that, and all of the 7 folks were supported by ISSS as well as grad school. Now, there were a few hypotheticals that we get into as well, and I'll cover all of those point by point just to know and make sure that all of you guys know what happens just in case something like this, takes place, so that our anxieties are relieved. So, of course, many colleges have their own crisis funds. Still, students can also apply either to the colleges or they can apply to the crisis funds that the grad school has. It's not enough for lawyers. I understand that. Usually, the grad school just sends the students to GLAO, for some pro bono immigration advice because they do have an immigration lawyer who I have spoken to personally as well, being an international student myself. And they are trying to come up with low cost options so that these students or students in the future, if they face any such issues, are supported well. I discussed a hypothetical with Dean Roth about what happens if, a department or a college is unfairly treating a student regarding the crisis funds, or they are not engaging with the students or helping students out. Because, as we discussed in the assembly, the students are directed to their departments and colleges, and sometimes they say that till the time we don't get any message from the higher ups, we're not going to do anything. So they should reach out to the resources the university has. If such a thing does happen, they're closely monitoring students whose visa status has changed. So Andrea Goodwin and Brian Watkins, they would have talked to Dean Roth about any such issue because they are making changes for to incorporate all of these students to enable them to use this crisis fund. And they should reach out to Dean Roth and ISSS or grad school in general. Also, all of these were nuanced and case by case, is what I got to know. For this is for the option of shifting the students to online mode if they cannot, get their visas reinstated. Why is that? So basically, they are looking at options like switching the program or their thesis because some of the programs have lab requirements to complete. Some of them don't have recorded lectures. So I proposed what if we record the offline lectures and just provide them asynchronously. These are conversations that I'm having right now with grad school. And Dino basically mentioned that it's the department heads that make that decision. For example, and they also have to consult grad school and ISSS if a student does feel that the department is not taking that extra effort of accommodating them. Dean Roth did mention to reach out to either the ombudsperson, the grad school, or ISSS in such a scenario, and they will work with the student as well as the department to help them out for their particular case. Also, regarding the funding, so there is a lot of funding, but for example, there is financial budget cuts due to the state budget, and a lot of the endowments are tied to scholarships or any specific purpose that the donor wants them to be tied to. So unfortunately, they're not able to get and reach out of that fund to help the students out right now. For the funding cuts as well as the international students, but they're trying to raise money for it. And also I was in the board of trustees meeting, which has a lot of updates about money related stuff, so I'll get into that too. Um, Also, if all of you have not read the assembly chat, this is something that I also spoke to Dean Roth about the cards that were shared on the group, the ISSS cards for all the emergencies. We can share that again in the assembly, or it's just in the chat. You can check that out too. Now, regarding President Biden's update in the Board of Trustees meeting, they are trying to join a lot of different litigations that are going on, and they're partnering with AAU, ACE, and APLU. Um, and for the litigations, they're also joining OAG. They're trying to explore new research opportunities so that the funding cuts does not really affect the students as much. Also, they're trying to lower the expenses and increase the revenue. This could mean a potential increase. Usually, it's a 2% increase for the tuition for domestic students, but they could go probably 4% this year because that is one of the major sources of their income too. Also, they have a near-term, mid-term, and long-term fiscal plan. And there was a $155 million budget cut that they faced in USA. So that's one thing that they're trying to recover too. Also, so um, they are trying to connect with people in the trustees who have connections with federal agencies. or anybody in the family working, friends working over there. And they're trying to help any UMD related uh, person who has been, affected by these budget cuts to probably involve them in research, hire them some sort of way just to like help them out. So that's something that's happening. There's also this free AI program that they launched, which has 6,000 people enrolled. So you guys can enroll in that. That's something that I really found interesting, and I just wanted to share it with everyone because there's no way that all of us would get to know about this. And I can share the resources later in the G chat too. I'm just trying to get everything done ASAP because I have a lot of. Sorry. Also good news that there's this new ranking system called EduRank, and UMD is 37 in the world. And this is academics plus the rest of the things. So that's great. Apart from that, I'm sorry, it's just my meeting notes. Okay. So, there is this quantum initiative. There was $1 billion in state funds and federal grants that was got, and 52.5 million from like USM. So 37.5 was for UMD. So that's why they were trying to raise money through one of these things, which is the category of quantum initiative. And they are trying to recruit the top people in quantum science and engineering to do research, um, and also partnering with DARPA State, IRLIS, and this is the second phase that's going on right now. They have gotten 100 million from the state for this, and to match that, DARPA is also giving 100 billion. This is a 4-year um, tenure program. Also, this is not important. Anything which is just an update, but not really important, I posted on GChat because I'm trying to be respectful of them. So yeah, I think those were all of my major updates. The rest of the things I will post after my meeting with President Vines as well as Provost Rice, and the rest of the things that were not as time sensitive to cover right now. And I'm so sorry for the background noise. But yeah, I have to step back in the meeting briefly. So those were all of my updates. Please let me know if you have any questions. I would love to reach out to anybody, everybody to get those solved as much as I can. But yeah, it was great working with all of you. I just want to say this before because it's my last presidential address. It was really great working with all of you. I'm glad also that I'm not doing this next year, but that's not because of you all. It's just I really commend, like, I'm really happy that Keegan is doing this next year. I don't know how he has the energy to, like, really commendable. But yeah, overall, I'm really happy for this experience and to be interacting with all of you and working alongside all of you. So thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Vara. If and thank you for your service. If anyone has any questions, I'm going to ask that you throw them in the chat or throw them in the chat, and Vara will be more than happy to get to you, or even if you just want to reach out to her separately, you can always do that as well. For the sake of time, we're just going to continue to move through the agenda. We are fortunate to have Jessica Lee join us, the Director of Engagement and Outreach for the University of Maryland Alumni Association. So this can be twofold for those that are graduating and those that are going to graduate eventually. Information for you here. But we also work with undergraduate students in a lot of the roles that we're in. So if you need to refer someone to the Alumni Association, this is a perfect conversation to take notes on too. So thank you so much, Jessica, for joining us. And I'm just going to call for a quick motion to move to Jessica's presentation.
Motion to move to Jessica's presentation.
Perfect.
Seconded.
Awesome. Jessica, the floor is yours. Thank you for being here.
Great, thank you all. Happy to be here, and Vara, thank you for all of your service with GSG. So like y'all have mentioned, my name is Jessica Lee. I am the Director of Engagement and Outreach with the Alumni Association, and I just wanted to give kind of an overview of what we do, either on campus and or off campus, so that you all have a better sense of what's going on with us, and how to plug in with your alumni association, either as a grad student or once you all become alums. So I'm going to share my screen because I have a very, very brief presentation, and then we can have time for questions at the end of it as well, in case there are any of those. So just going to move right along. So our goal at the Alumni Association is really to connect Terps with other Terps. So not only just connecting alums and making sure that they feel like they're connected to their alma mater, but finding ways to also involve current students, whether undergraduate or graduate, with the Alumni Association to share kind of those resources and events and programs that we do while you all are here on campus. Or just taking classes remotely. And so I wanted to put this up here because in essence, this is pretty much a summary of what we do. So we obviously want to connect, cultivate, channel the power of alums to enrich their own lives, advance the university, and impact the greater good. So I think oftentimes folks think, the Alumni Association, our sole purpose for, the university is to collect donations and get money from students, which yes, part of that is true. However, most of the Alumni Association's work actually is focused on engaging alums and students and less focus on the actual donation piece. Our hope is that you all would feel connected enough to your alma mater once you get your degree and think about the areas in which you have been impacted directly and maybe want to give back, whether that's through monetary donations or just staying involved and engaged with us, whether that's attending events, whether that's being panelists or speakers for certain opportunities. So there are lots of ways to get involved. It is not just all about that monetary piece. So I did want to share that because that tends to be a common misconception with us in terms of what we do at the Alumni Association. Next slide. Okay, so the Alumni Association team is split up into 3 major units. So Jessica Roberts, she is our Senior Executive Director of the Alumni Association. She's also an alum of the university, so works out really nicely for us because she has a really awesome story of how, she met her husband here on campus, and now she is in charge of leading the strategy for the Alumni Association. And so I'm going to talk briefly about specifically the engagement and outreach because I don't think the other two are as relevant for this particular group, but just sharing some highlights of what we actually do within our space. Engagement and outreach. Okay, so engagement outreach team is also kind of broken down into 4 main areas. So that's student engagement, career and professional programs, regional affinity and volunteer programs, and special events. So I'm going to highlight, go into a little bit more detail about each of these. And we're going to, before I do that, we're going to talk a little bit about some highlights of what we do. So again, our main purpose and role is to plan and coordinate events and initiatives to engage our alums. So we plan actually over 500 events throughout the course of the year. And there's a focus on career, professional development, and lifelong learning. We did a survey a few years ago, and the number one thing that all alums, students, and whatnot wanted to kind of utilize the Alumni Association was for career and professional development opportunities. So our career and professional programs team used to be a team of 1, and they are now a team of 4. So that kind of shows to highlight, where our priorities have gone. We also focus obviously on student engagement as well as outreach. So with our alums who are not necessarily all living in the DMV, how do we keep them engaged? And that is through our regional affinity and volunteer program engagement. So starting with student engagement, so this is actually the area that I oversee. And so we work with our student ambassadors. So if any of you all have heard of our Student Alumni Leadership Council, they're mostly undergraduate students, but we do have a few grad students on that kind of student ambassador group as well. And so they help us connect with the students. They help connect students with alums through various events and programs that they do across the year. We also have our M-Book and bucket list. So I'm sure at this point, hopefully all of you all have heard of those things. So our M-Book is the guide to the student experience. And then with that, we also have a 20-item kind of must-do list of things on campus. And so for those of you that are graduating now, you're welcome to look up that list and complete all of those things to receive a special medallion to wear at commencement. If you aren't graduating quite yet and you want to get started on that, you can certainly start now. There's more information about that on our website about kind of how you can go about finding those items and tracking your completion. And the broad scope of what I work with, so I kind of manage all of our prospective, admitted, and current student programs. So overseeing the strategy, making sure that students feel connected from the day they're admitted to the university. So we try to do some outreach events prior to when students come to campus to really give that full scope about, once you're admitted as a TERP, you're a TERP for life, whether that's you're just starting out your journey, whether you're about to graduate or anywhere in between. I also oversee our senior class gift program. So if there are any graduating students on this call and you haven't participated in the senior class gift, I know Vara mentioned a little bit about the Student Crisis Fund earlier. And so every year, each graduating class kind of votes on a fund that they'd like to support. And so this class of 2025, they've opted to support the Student Crisis Fund. So all of the proceeds that are raised through that fund go directly towards student crisis. And so right now, I believe we have over $10,000 raised from graduating students. So if you haven't participated yet, we just are collecting a $10 one-time donation, and in exchange, you'll receive a little TERP alum tassel charm to wear on your commencement cap, or you can put it on your keychain or whatever. So if you're interested in learning more about that, I'm happy to share more details about that at the end or answer any questions. And then we also have our Alumni Association scholarship. So this is really popular for undergraduate and graduate students as well. We do offer a scholarship every year for those respective groups. And so you can find more information about, qualifications and eligibility on our website, but that typically opens every, I would say, March of every year. So the next cycle will begin March 26th. And I don't know if any of you all have applied for this past cycle, but we are currently in the process of starting to review those applications soon. And our current one is also open. So if you are interested in learning more and are not graduating and are eligible, feel free to apply directly through our website. I believe applications are open until the end of this month. All right. Moving on to our career and professional programs. So this we have broken down our career and programs team into 4 main areas. So job readiness and career skills. So if you haven't heard of our mentorship platform, Terrapins Connect, it's a really, really interactive platform. I like to call it a LinkedIn pretty much for the University of Maryland. So everyone on that platform is affiliated with the University of Maryland. So there are opportunities to connect with other alums in various industries, career opportunities. We have our own job posting there. So grad students, if you're looking for opportunities, whether that's internships or jobs, definitely check out Terrapins Connect. It's an easy way to connect with other folks. I know sometimes I get nervous like sending cold emails or cold messages to folks, but through Terrapins Connect, everyone is affiliated with Maryland. So there's always something that you can connect about, being a TERP and whatnot. We also have various entrepreneur resources. So if you have a small business or you're thinking about opening a small business, we have a certain network that kind of supports those folks who are looking to either gain more exposure or are more seasoned entrepreneurs. And so we have a whole kind of lineup of events there. And then we also have corporate and industry engagement. So particular companies and industries that we've worked with in the past, for example, Capital One, Accenture. We had a government networking night a few months ago. And so Kara on our team kind of leads some of those efforts that are specific to certain industries and corporate opportunities. And then we have our lifelong learning. So if you're kind of like not looking necessarily for a career resource or career advice, but you just are looking to learn something cool, Ellie kind of leads various sessions and webinars. We usually partner with different faculty around campus to promote lifelong learning. So if you're just like, I want to learn about a cool new topic, I believe there was one about like gardening not too long ago. So they're really fun topics in case you're interested in participating in any of those. And then our regional affinity volunteer program. So if you're looking to get involved, past your experience on campus and you like live in California or any of our other kind of regional areas where we have a lot of TRIP alums, we have volunteer boards that help plan fun and engaging activities out in those areas that they're in. So for example, we were out in LA a few weeks ago, and we worked with our LA TERPS network to bring folks in, and they also plan like game watches and happy hours and things like that. So if you're just looking for community, it's a great way to get involved that way, or be a part of a board who helps plan some of those events. And then we also have our affinity network. So we have APAN, which is our Asian Pacific Islander network. We have our Black Alumni Network, as well as our Latinx Alumni Network. And then we also have our Lambda Pride network as well. So if you're looking to connect with other alums, particularly with those affinities, we have spaces for that as well. And then we have industry networks and award recognition. So we also do have several different award opportunities throughout the year through our Circle of Excellence Award, as well as our TERP Alum Awards. So more information about that can also be found on our website. And then last but not least, we have our special events team. So they're the ones that are managing our large scale mass engagement events. So things like homecoming, things like our alumni holiday party. So these are events that typically bring in like upwards to thousands of alums in the space. And so we partner or work closely with our special events teams to make sure that we are also engaging pretty much every alum, whether you're a student or not, or are not necessarily looking for career resources. There's always a way to engage with us at the Alumni Association, even if it's just, stopping by the homecoming tailgate on homecoming day. So they help plan some of those opportunities as well as our member events. So we are a members-based organization. You do not have to be a member necessarily to participate in any of our events, but for any events that do have a cost associated with them, members do get a discount on that. So more information about that is also available on our website. And that is pretty much it. I just wanted to give kind of a very high level overview of what we do and didn't want to get too in the weeds of specific programs and events. But if you all have any questions, I don't know how much time I have left. I was not timing myself. But if I have any time left, or if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer those now. Or I put my contact information here in case you all would like to send a quick email. But any questions from the group that I can help answer?
Thank you so much, Jessica. And as always, we do have a few minutes for a few questions. So as always, if you do have any questions, just introduce yourself and include your program that you represent. Thank you.
Wow, no questions.
It's
It is
that
a Friday,
amazing.
so
You're that amazing.
yeah. Oh, I do
I-
see a hand raised. Nora.
Hi. Yeah, hi. I'm Nora. I'm from epidemiology PhD program. I heard about a alumni match program or something through the doctoral pathways. Have you heard of that, where you have a mentor who is an alumni in a similar field to you? Is that something you do? Is that with a different program?
Yeah, so I don't know if we are the ones that are coordinating the exact thing that you're referring to necessarily. However, we do have like a similar like mentorship-esque program that essentially does what you're saying. So we have through Terrapins Connect, we do offer several different mentorship opportunities through the online platform. Typically, those mentorship opportunities are they're not like meant to be this like long-winded thing where you have to like commit to doing something for a really long time, but it's kind of a smaller scale opportunity to connect with someone, to connect with a more seasoned alum who has a similar interest or career path or what have you. So that's kind of similar to, I think, what you're referring to. And we actually are launching one this summer specifically for recent alums. So if you are graduating this year or plan to graduate soon and you would like to learn more information about that program, it essentially pairs kind of recent grads with a more seasoned alum. So I think it's like class of 2010 to like 2019. And so if you're interested in matching, and that program essentially matches the alum with the other alum and they connect and have several different touch points. And there's kind of this end of mentorship program event that they're working on coordinating. So I don't know if that's what you're looking for, but if that is, or if you want to know more information about it, I'm happy to put the link in the chat so that you all can learn more.
I would love to see that link. I put the link in the chat for the one I was talking about in case you were interested in looking at it. I graduate in 2027, so this is probably not the program for me, but I do know some people who will be graduating, so it might be for them.
Got it.
But yeah, that sounds like a great opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, this one looks like, oh wait, it is through Terrapins Connect. So maybe this is a partnership, or the grad school is running it and they're using the Terrapins Connect platform. So that's also a possibility. But either way, I love using Terrapins Connect because I do think it is really self-intuitive. It functions pretty similarly to LinkedIn. And if you already have a LinkedIn and are looking to create a profile on Terrapins Connect, you can actually import all of your LinkedIn information to also be reflected in Terrapins Connect. So it should be pretty self-sufficient, and you don't have to like redo your entire profile manually, if that is helpful. But I'll also put the link to the program that I was referring to in the chat as well.
Perfect. Thank you for that question, Nora. I'll leave this open for another 10 seconds because it looked like there weren't many questions to begin with. But if nobody else is raising their hand, please join me in thanking Jessica and taking time out of her Friday to join us. I know we're so close to the weekend, and this is probably one of the last things preventing her from going off and enjoying her weekend. So we're truly appreciative of this. And as you all know, she has dropped links and she also has left her email if anyone has any questions or additional comments.
Thank you. And I will also put this presentation link in the chat, and it should be set so anyone can view it. But again, if you have any questions about any of our programs or want more information about a specific thing, whether it's like corporate events or you want to learn more about the M book, feel free to send me an email and I'm happy to chat.
Perfect. Thank you again, Jessica. Moving forward in the agenda, and I am going to share it at this time. Share my screen. There's a million desktops open. Please tell me you all can see my screen and it's not something else. It's not my emails, my very sensitive emails.
You're
Perfect.
good.
So moving along to the VPFA's address. Can we just call for a motion to move to the VPFA's address?
Motion to move to the VPFA address.
Seconded.
Michael, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Let me just share my screen. Oh, sorry, Devon, I'll share my screen, kick you out of it.
Absolutely. Please kick me out.
Cool. All right. Sorry, I was trying to make a QR code while I was sitting here and it went badly. Sorry, I'll go quickly. Basically, what I'm here to talk to you all about, as I try to figure out my screen, is spend down. So we have money in our budget every year and we spent a bunch of it, but not all of it. Actually, quite a lot we did not spend. So I wanted to tell you about it. Now that I have the right screen up, I'm going to share. Okay. I have way too many screens open. Here we go. Perfect. Amazing. All right. So assuming you can all see my slides, basically this is the part of the, there we go, of the bylaws that talks about the spend down. The part that I'm highlighting to you is why we're here today. So according to this, the assembly, y'all, will generate a finalized list of allocations once I tell you how much left is in the budget. And then y'all can vote on it. I don't know how people who wrote the bylaws expected us to do this, because I have 5 minutes right now, and there is not legislation for this, mostly because I don't know how y'all want to spend it. So what's been done in the past is that basically there's been like legislation that's like, yep, I vote that we maximize the use of it. And I guess that means that the executive committee decides. It's up to you whether you want to do that. I have some legislation kind of in the bag if you want that, but we don't have to. I didn't want to introduce it because it seemed kind of weird to me. I wanted to hear what you all had to say about it. And so let me just share. First of all, I will share a link with you. Sorry, way too many screens open. So you can all see this yourselves. Once I figure out where Zoom went, sorry. Okay, I'm popping this link in the chat right now. Everyone should be able to see it, but I'm going to share my screen as well. I want you all to have time to like look this over. But basically, this is May balances. So like where we're at now with spending. I think this is everything. If I missed one or two things, probably Keegan will be able to tell me. But for EFRs, we still have $7,200 leaving. Because grants for graduate students, there were a couple people, unfortunately, who were interested in grants for graduate students, but we have absolutely no procedure of how to do this. It's not in our bylaws at all. I randomly found something online from a few years ago. So if you've noticed any of the budget revisions that Keegan's going to talk about, that's being addressed. So anyway, we didn't spend any of that. Still $8,200 left in that account for our internal programming, for our community events, which have been our Terp Zone events. We still have tons of money left over. Committees, no one asked me to buy lunch. I think y'all just meet online, and that's cool, but it saves us money. So $10,880 in that account. I don't know technically if we're allowed to like spend the staffing stuff that was budgeted, but not everyone were these like third step GA ships, so we still have 5,500 in that. Web hosting, still got a little bit of money in that. Outreach and advocacy, 500. Travel, I might be missing a couple receipts here, but I think we still have well over $1,000. Discretionary fund still has a bunch. So there is currently $27,762 of our budget that has not been spent yet. And I mean, if we don't spend it, it just like goes into GSG's like fund balance that is used to like fund things in the future. But we could still spend it if y'all want. So I don't know how much time we have for discussion. I will leave that to Devon, but that's kind of the end of my presentation. And basically what y'all want to do with it, it's your money. So just let me know. I see Keegan raised a hand. I don't know if I'm allowed to call on you.
So briefly, I actually do have a suggested use for it, as was brought up by one of our assembly members in chat. I've been trying to figure out in the background. Our website's a mess. It's been a mess for years. It could really use a lot of work, and that a lot of work takes time and money that we now have to maybe hire someone externally to fix the website and give it a redesign. I'm just saying it has been the bane of my existence all year. But really is just a matter of not having the time to dedicate. But if we have spare money, there are worse things we could spend it on. Just saying.
Good point, Keegan. Brandon, I saw your hand next.
Hey folks, happy Friday. Brandon from Higher Ed. I agree with Keegan. I think that using money towards the website update would be a really nice, refreshing look. And I think that a small committee of folks could get together and look at other graduate student government websites at other Big Ten institutions to see what kind of model we could follow, especially with how our website isn't tied to UMD. I'm sure other websites across other universities also is not tied to their university, so I'm sure we can make something work. But I also wanted to just request something. I am our public relations chair for the Chessie Graduate Student Association at the College of Education. Chessie is the Counseling, Higher Education, and Special Education program. That's where my higher ed program is within. We were just informed that we are not going to receive funding next year, and I thought I would use this space and see if I could request funding from folks. I know that this is kind of informal and usually there are more processes to go through, but I wanted to see if that's something that I could formally request in this space, and of course not have a vote in it, but perhaps have a request for it.
So if it's an event funding request for something that happens this year, we're allowed to do that. But otherwise, currently the way the bylaws stand, unless there were like other acts introduced, is that we can only allocate things paid for in this fiscal year.
In this fiscal year, okay, perfect. So I will just make sure that the new board is informed on the processes, so we can come
Cool.
back and request funding in the future. Thanks, Michael.
Alan, I saw your hand, please.
Yeah, I agree with Keegan's point that we could kind of update the website, but I would also want to raise the point that we currently do have CS students or something in our UMD. So instead of shipping the project externally, because then it constantly needs maintenance or something, we could kind of hire UMD students or something. So that would cost us maybe less.
To quickly respond, I wasn't saying like ship it externally. It would still be under our control. But just someone to and if we wanted to hire CS students too, that'd be great. But just like someone who's willing to put in the time to even use our current existing Wix platform just to redesign it. Because there's a lot that we can do. It's just a matter of I have not had time all year, and I doubt the next director of operations is going to have time either. And that's been the case for years. So yeah. But I appreciate that concept and that suggestion for sure.
Perfect. If anyone else has any comments, thoughts, or suggestions, feel free to throw them in the chat or just talk to Michael specifically about them. This is an ongoing conversation, but I want to be mindful of the agenda and keep us moving along. So could I just call for a motion to move to the Director of Ops address?
Motion to move to Director of Operations address.
Thank you.
Seconded.
Perfect. Keegan, floor is yours.
All right, I got 5 minutes. I'll be fast. So the main thing is to bring up is the bylaws and bylaws vote that had been planned for today. After discussing with bylaws committee, we just simply realized that it would be procedurally weird to have a vote today when so much of the bylaws depends on the Constitution also being amended, and we don't know if the Constitution is going to be amended yet. We hope so, but we won't know that until the program rep ballots are closed. And if we were to approve the bylaws edits as they are right now without the Constitution, there'd be weird situations like we wouldn't have an impeachment process for a bit because one of the proposed changes is moving impeachment from the bylaws, deleting them, and putting them in the Constitution, which they have not been approved in yet. So there are some procedural hurdles. There's also just a lot. The bylaws are a bigger project than the Constitution, about twice as long. And there's a lot of moving parts that I want to make sure we get right. So I don't know if it'll be feasible to have a vote this semester. I'm sure that Devon and I will have that conversation, and as will the rest of the exec team, and we'll see if people have availability. Worst case scenario, we might have this be a first item of business in the August meeting with the new government. I would like to get it done this semester though, for sure. So here are updates from me on that, but I don't, the earliest we could we could realistically have a vote, I think, is when the constitutional amendment votes are closed in about a week. So I just wanted to give that brief update. That's why we're not voting on them. That's why you're going to continue to see the bylaws report change and update as I go through it and do some fine tuning. Because there were some gaps that I noticed last night when I was trying to put final preps, like final touches on it, that I'm like, oh no, we should definitely not let that remain unaddressed. So that's my update on that. Otherwise, everything else can probably be an email, except I will mention that we do have a kind of a send-off GSG party tonight going on at Terp Zone. We've rented the entire place out from 6 to 8, and we are providing pizza. So show up, pizza and drinks. Show up and bring your friends and anyone who might be interested in GSG, frankly. Yeah, free food. Although, you know, I only spent like $200 on the free food this time, so not $5,000 like with grad. So show up early if you want the food, is what I'm trying to say here. But yes, please do show up 6 to 8. I'll be there, and I'm sure many other members of the exec team at least will be there, and hopefully a lot of you will be too. I think that's it, and everything else can be an email, and I think I just stayed under 5 minutes.
Perfect. Thank you, Keegan. And also thank you to the entire Constitution and Bylaws Review Committee for the heavy lifting work that you are all doing. So it's important work. And also thank you to the Assembly for all of you that voted on the constitutional revisions. That was a quick ask, and y'all came through. So thank you to all of y'all. Moving forward into the agenda, moving into new business. As mentioned, there are now 5 pieces of legislation that we're going to try to speed run through. So as I pull them up, if anyone has any questions, feel free to run us through your questions. And as I'm speaking, if anyone feels like there truly needs to be a closed session for any of these pieces of legislation, just call for a motion to move to closed session so that we can have a more private, intimate discussion. But as of right now, I'll just leave it how it is as we're discussing the pieces of legislation. So the first one is where is it? It's this one. Perfect. Michael, do you just want to walk us through this real quickly?
Me? Sure.
Yes. Oh, sorry, wrong one. I apologize, y'all. I got 3 million tabs open. There, this is.
Cool. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so this is an act supporting the operational budget for FY26. Sorry, I didn't attach that budget. Let me grab that for y'all. If y'all have questions, but this is the one that you saw last time. So yeah, sorry, I'm trying to find one for you. But yeah, basically this is the budget that you saw last time. And I will basically, if you want to make any amendments, like I think someone had like a great suggestion perhaps last time, then I would love to hear any amendments, but let me throw this right in the chat. But this is essentially just your your approval process for next year's budget. I threw the link in the chat so you could see the itemizations. Thanks. I'll take any questions.
Perfect. Thank you, Keegan, for those points in the chat that you made. Any questions?
I have a question.
Brandon?
I know that we mentioned earlier in the chat, Michael, you mentioned that we could amend the constitution or propose a budget amendment when the budget approval comes up. Is this what we're doing right now?
Yes, so this is like the budget for next year. And if you open that link that I put in the chat, you can see all the like allocations. And there is something there for web hosting, but there's nothing there for like hiring a web developer. So we would have to pull money from one of the other areas. Um, at, yes. And put that in. We could also, I don't know if there's I don't know. I think we probably have to pass something like this today. But yeah, if someone wanted to like make an amendment to say, oh, let's change this budget line to add something for a web developer, we'll take X amount of money from this and put it into that. We could definitely do that.
Would that be a conversation that should happen now or at a later time?
I think now, but Devon, that's a you question.
It could happen now.
That
If
said, next year the budget can always be amended. Like that can always be brought up for a discussion.
Also, if we end up voting on the bylaws later, we could also have other legislation as part of that. So
This is graduating, Brandon, asking everyone to remember to amend it in the future.
Cool.
Nora, I saw your hand next.
Yeah, I just wanted to echo some of Brandon's concerns for programs that might be losing funding due to recent budget cuts, and that adding a crisis line of funds for graduate students affected by federal budget cuts might be worthwhile for future amendments. But just that's cool that we can amend it later. I think it's fine now.
I think that's a good thing. The only things we would have to consider with that, one is that like our funding, the way I budgeted it and the way I was instructed was to not assume that we're getting any more funding next year than we are this year. That said, you can, if you compare like, the ones I gave you today, like our May balances versus the budget for next year, I'm sure there's like plenty of money that we usually don't spend that we could allocate in these new ways. We'd also have to figure out who exactly gets to decide these things, right? Like, would it be like the e-board next year reads people's like personal stories and then decides? Would it be like the budget and finance committee? Would it be something external? But yeah, I think these are all great ideas.
Thank you.
Other thoughts at this time? Seeing none. Ivy, go ahead.
Sorry, this is going to be annoying. I'm crossing I's and dotting T's. I think that based on the conversation we're having, there could be good in an amendment that just funds the support for communication, emergency support, however that could be construed, and public relations needs, which could then encapsulate the website. I think that if we did amend it based on how the Constitution looks at this moment, it probably looked like what I just put in the chat. I'm leaving it as an option because I'm not sure if we want to consider an amendment or if we want to pass this right now, but this would match some of the stuff that we've also seen in other parts of the body.
Thank you for that incredible note, Ivy. And I want to just add to that, since we will be having a special assembly already for bylaws, this can be added to the agenda for that same voting special assembly meeting, if we choose to table this to that time. Other thoughts? Seeing none. So what we can do is there could be a motion to vote, there could be a motion to table, there could be a motion to revise. Nora, go ahead.
Motion to add Ivy's amendments.
I'll gladly second myself.
I'd third.
All in favor. Well, for the process of this, is there anyone that opposes that? Seeing none. Okay. Absolutely. Perfect. Keegan, can we make a note of this? I have like 3 screens open, so I'm not even looking at anything at this point. Nora, go ahead.
Assuming we've just officially amended this legislation, can I move to vote on approving it?
Yes.
Okay, I move to vote on approving this amended legislation that includes Ivy's lovely writings.
I fully accept and second the edits with Ivy's notes.
Perfect. Thank you all. I am working through adding these amendments. As you can see, they are in the chat. Just as you all know, we just did this unanimously. So I am launching the poll. So again, what we are, and I'm also going to adjust. Where is my, let me stop sharing my screen first and foremost, and let me go to the poll itself. And in the poll, I'm going to ask, I'm just going to update the verbiage in the poll, basically saying with amendments. With amendments. And since we,
I see some folks without program codes in their names. Are they going to be removed or?
so let's do this. Can we play the trusting principle game, or do we think that we should just move everyone who is not a program rep into a lobby, into a waiting room?
I will trust Ivan.
Does everyone else play this trusting game? Or should we?
Is it hard to make a separate room?
When I usually do that, you know how it kicks everyone else out, and that's what happens. And then it becomes I'm pulling everyone out from the abyss. So let's figure this out. All right, let's do this together. If anyone is a Zoom genius, please help. I'm begging you. Okay. Assign manually, create a breakout room, 1 room. Okay. Add room. Assign. Okay. So everyone that's not Benjamin, Anastasia, Chakrini. Again, please, please, please rename yourself so I'm not kicking you out. I'm just doing this off of that simple name process. Again, thank you all for your patience on making this. You should be good. Add room, open all room. Can I do this? Oh, I hope that worked. Please tell me that worked. How do I know? How do I know if it works?
It worked. They're moving.
They're moving?
Yeah.
Perfect. I didn't miss anyone, right? Well, I do. The names that I'm familiar with that are program reps that don't have their name, again, I am disappointed right now that you didn't put your name. I'm just saying. But for those that I didn't recognize, Jillian, please go ahead.
Sorry, I'm confused. Do you want non-reps to go in room 1 or you wanted reps to go in room 1?
Non-reps in room 1.
Okay, see y'all later.
Thank you. Awesome. Perfect. Perfect. Am I missing anyone? Shima. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I do not recognize your name as a program rep, with all due respect. Drew, go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't get the invitation for the room.
Okay.
I think I can manually move you. 1 sec.
Vegan. Thank you all to my tech team. Y'all make my life a little bit easier.
Yeah, neither did I. Put me somewhere.
This is for the program representatives. This room that we are in right now is for people who are program representatives.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my bad.
This is not candidate voting session yet. We aren't there. This is just for the legislation that we're discussing.
Yeah, because we don't have an easy way of controlling who votes without moving people out of the room, basically.
Well, I'm going to take advantage of this just so that we don't have to jump in and out, that I'll just motion to keep us in closed session for
Good call.
through the consideration of the business.
That is perfect.
Seconded.
Thank you. Speed run through this. Daniel, are you a candidate? You are a candidate. You're not a program rep, correct?
No,
Could you-
I'm just a candidate.
Perfect. Could you do me a favor and jump into room 1, or do you need to be assigned? I will assign you to room 1.
Yeah, could you assign me, please? Thank you.
Yep. Perfect. Anyone else? Everyone else looks good. Perfect. So I'm going to launch. Drew, you need to go, or yes, you do.
Yeah, again, I didn't get the invite. Keegan was trying to put me manually, but
Let me see.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not moving you. Ah, tech is fun.
Because on my side, it says that you are moved. Let me see if I can. Where is it? Where are you?
I also tried moving to room 2 and tech. Okay.
He's just a slippery little guy, isn't he?
Let's see. Okay, I think I can. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna. Oh,
I think he's
I
gone.
think he's gone. Yeah.
perfect. I was gonna say otherwise it can just move people to the back into the waiting room. But anyway,
All right. So let me launch this poll. Thank you all for your patience. Yo, Drew's back. Oh man.
So do you know how you have the settings for the breakout room set up? If you set it to you advise them to move, but they have to accept it. So Drew, are you accepting to go into the
yeah,
breakout
I did
room?
that. I did accept the invite, but it
Okay.
redirects me to the breakout room and then it again brings me to the main room.
Gotcha.
yeah, I don't know, and it should not be doing that. I don't know why it's doing that. So Drew, I'm going to just move you back to the waiting room, like waiting to join the meeting, and I will re-invite you.
I'm so sorry. I was just going to say that the breakout room option was briefly open if you needed to jump into it. But yeah.
I'm just gonna do that at this point because it's easier. We will invite you back to the meeting when we can.
Nianta, I saw you just joined. Can you just put your 4-letter program code? Again, I know that you are a rep. I just no, I'm not admitting you, Drew. We're not doing this game.
Okay, sorry, let me do that.
Perfect. Thank you. Perfect. So I'm launching this poll. Again, thank you all for bearing with me. Shout out to my amazing team that makes this world go round. Y'all all should see it.
The with amendments is what Ivy suggested, right? Thank you.
What's the lucky number we're looking for? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Looking for 17. I'll leave it open for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Perfect. End poll. Great job all around. Let me share results. Y'all know it passed with amendments. Stop sharing. Thank you, Ivy, for allowing us to stay in closed session. And Brandon, I believe you were the one that seconded. As Keegan mentioned, all of these are drafts at this time. Stylistically, they won't change. So just moving quickly into the second act. As Michael said, this is essentially GLAO's budget, what they presented to us last month, at our in-person / hybrid meeting, for accessibility purposes. But Michael, is there anything else we want to add to this or to this discussion? Or I covered everything.
That is everything. If anyone wants to see it, let me know. I'll grab one.
Any questions? Seeing none, could I call for a motion to vote?
Motion to vote.
Seconded.
Perfect. Stop share. Again, we're looking for that 17 number. Launching this poll right right now. Again, thank you all for being fantastic. The quicker we get through all the votes, the quicker we get through all of these pieces of legislation, then we get to the meat and potatoes of today. And then I can bow out nicely from my VPLA post. I'll leave it open for another 5 seconds. Thank you all to those that have voted. Ending poll, launching results, share results. Again, this one passed. Thank you all. Stop sharing. Going to next piece of legislation. Share my screen again. Have to figure out where this one piece of legislation is hiding at. Is it this one? No. Which one is it? It's one of these. It's this one. It's absolutely this one. So this is my parting gift to all of you, my final piece of legislation. Basically calling on UMD administration to establish a firewall for freedom that defends the rights of all students. Thank you to the amazing team of co-sponsors that have supported this piece of legislation. But ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union, has this campaign essentially saying that states and institutions have a right to uphold students' rights. So I believe strongly in that. And so this is a call to the University of Maryland to take specific measures to ensure that we are supporting students at the end of the day through policies, through engaging with clear and transparent communication, fostering a collaborative environment across departments, protecting vulnerable departments, and implementing additional measures to limit discrimination and ensure confidentiality across the campus. Any discussion? Seeing none, could I call for a motion to vote?
What are
Motion.
the specific measures? Sorry to throw a curveball in there. What are the specific measures? Are they in there?
So what I kind of am asking for here is whatever, so if the federal government's asking for, if the federal government is disobeying court orders essentially and saying we want this from a specific institution, I'm asking the University of Maryland not to cave to what the federal government's asking for. Cool. Are there comments or motion to vote?
Just wanted to share that these kinds of firewalls are very important, as ISSS and a few other bodies here at UMD can abide because we receive federal funding, and they can accept and they can give information if it is federally mandated that it be given. So firewalls like these remind them that us as the graduate student government don't allow for that and don't wish for that to happen, as we speak for graduate students at UMD. So resolutions like these are just very important to ensure that there is no room for them to say, well, they didn't say that they weren't okay with these things, but more so just a way for us to reassure them now rather than later that we are in fact against sharing information out.
Yep. Thank you, Brandon. Calling for a motion to vote or anything
Motion
else?
to vote.
Seconded.
Thank you. Launching this poll. R07. Perfect. Again, from what I understand, 17 is that sweet spot. I'll leave it open for about 30 seconds. If we don't get to 17. Am I counting right? $17. Yeah, I am counting right. Anyone else? 5, 4, 3. You can abstain if you don't agree with it, if you don't want to even vote on it. But perfect. Thank you all. That passes. Moving into our sorry. Moving on to our fourth. Let me share screen. Thanks, Brandon. I saw your note. I appreciate that. Is it this one? Yes. Rose, is there anything that you want to add to this?
Not really. I don't know. I feel like it's fairly self-explanatory. We don't have parental leave right now, and we should.
Absolutely. Nora, go ahead.
Hi, Nora, epidemiology. I sponsored this bill. I think it's awesome. And I just want to ask if it does pass that we send this to the Vice President of DEI, Dr. Dodge. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Other discussion?
Motion to vote.
Thank you.
Before
Michael.
that, Michael has her hand up.
Yeah, just a quick question. Do we? Oh, I see. Sorry. This is because I remember like talking about things that GSG has gotten before, and it's like parental leave, but this is asking for more. Is that right?
This is 12 weeks, yes. And
Got it.
I think we got 8 weeks or something, I think most recently, if I recall, with autumn. But that's still not what is recommended. So
Got it. Okay, cool. Yeah, I saw that at the top. I just wanted to make sure that's what it was. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Perfect. Anyone second Brandon's motion?
Oh, seconded.
Perfect. Let me launch the poll. Poll is launched again. Actually, I feel like somebody disappeared. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm losing my mind, guys. Okay.
Looks like
No, Rose came back. You're good. We're back at it.
You only
I'm so
lost
sorry.
temporarily.
We were doing so good up until that point.
Perfect. Again, looking for that 17 number, but I'll leave it open for another 5 seconds. We did hit quorum, but again, want everyone's voice to be included. Ending poll, unanimous. Thank you all for the incredible work that you do. Stop sharing. And the last resolution, again, as always, right now these are drafts stylistically. There's a few things that'll change, but the content itself does not change. Rose, while I pull this up, you just want to introduce it?
Yeah, so this is somewhat similar to the one that you presented, but so basically Rutgers Senate, I believe, has proposed this like mutual defense compact for Big Ten universities to kind of like band together and share resources, particularly financial resources, in the event that one of the universities is faces some kind of federal attack, whether that be like federal funding freeze or something. And so then that way they can all work together to fight for academic freedom and fight against federal overreach. This is something actually that I think before I wrote this hadn't been discussed in the Senate, but has now passed the University Senate. We are just still waiting for Pines to, or I don't know, whoever makes a decision. I think it's Pines, but could be other people involved in the decision as well to sign on to this. And so why not add some grad voices into the mix to add some more pressure on that?
Absolutely. Thank you, Rose. Comments or motion to vote? Sydney, go ahead.
Quick question about this. So Rutgers is obviously involved. Have any of the other Big Ten said anything? Yeah, okay. I see Ivy nodding.
Yes,
okay, that was
yeah,
my
they
question.
have.
Yes. I'm gonna jump in and just say like the amount of work that was done on the University Senate's form of this compact, which is different but not as different as what GSG is doing. This matches almost to the T everything that we've seen at other Big Ten universities and also at some smaller universities that we consider peer institutions. So not anywhere near abnormal for us to be considering it. And it definitely matches what I understand to be the predominant kind of case when it comes to the Big Ten Mutual Defense Compact and the defense compacts across the country within colleges and associations.
Thank you, Ivy. Calling for
Motion to vote.
Seconded.
Perfect. Thanks, team. While I pull this up, and before I let everyone back in, it is going to be it's still up for everyone, right? Okay, yeah, I just pulled it up. Right. While you all are voting, it's going to be super important. There are a ridiculously absurd number of candidates that I found that I'm like, what? And so I'm going to give like a 60-second candidate statements, but I'm going to emphasize, please just say anything that wasn't included in your already initial statements when you submitted the ones that I shared with all of you already. And this is a time for you all to ask questions. I do want to be really intentional with our questions because you all are going to be the voters to approve who's next. So it's important that we use our time extremely wisely for the next 40 minutes. Sydney, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just gonna echo, I suppose, that we have a lot of people without experience, like of GSG. So I think an important question that I think all of them should probably do is like, what do you know about GSG? Or something along those lines of like, do you understand like it's not a free for all. We do have rules, constitution, bylaws within the GSG, and making sure that they understand that this is like a particular role. I think a lot of them that I read through, like, oh, well, we should change this about how the university is, but I don't necessarily think that directly translates. Certainly, GSG helps with that, but it's not just we can do whatever we want and have a voice. Anyway, that's all I'm gonna add about that one.
Thank you. Keegan, go ahead.
Very briefly, I just kind of want to add to that. I think a lot of the candidates are treating this as just another job, and I think that's the wrong mindset. This is a service first kind of job. This is not for padding resumes. It's not very good for that, to be honest. So I think that asking people if they are interested in service first and foremost is pretty important. I just throw that out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Sarup?
Oh, I would start with first agreeing with what both Sydney and Keegan talked about. This very similar thoughts on that because I was reading through what people are saying and they're like, okay, we did this, we did that in our previous years, and I'm like, but that does not mean we need to see that you want to help improve the grad students' life in different forms in academia or student affairs and all of these. So I think that's something that we should be looking at is how much they know, as Sydney said, about GSG and how much they're willing to do. So kind of along those lines. Thank you.
Absolutely. So when we give them 60 seconds, I'll kind of frame it in your interest in service and how your familiarity with GSG, so that those are the two things that they're hitting on. And if they begin repeating themselves, we can play this. We'll give them their space, but just keep that in the back of your head. What was the
Also,
last?
strict 60 seconds, so we're not here till like 3 p.m. since we have so many candidates.
And perhaps we can say 45 to 60 seconds to remind them that, like, keep it short.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. So just bouncing off of that, all of the legislation has passed. Thank you all for voting. I'm gonna open up the floodgates now at this point. And to that point, like even I have GSG experience, but y'all know we have to be flexible. And again, I'm so appreciative of each and every one of you for being flexible with me and everything that's been going on this entire academic year.
I have a question. How do we do floor nominations? Should we wish to for someone?
You get recognized by Yvonne and make your nomination, basically. Or
Yeah,
you have another rep do it.
I'm just wanting to nominate someone.
Yeah, that's how. Same thing. You can either nominate yourself or another.
And would I do that now or later?
I was talking and I accidentally threw myself in the breakout room. So Brandon, to your point, the structure and how we're going to do this is starting with the VPFA, correct? That's what I have, right? Yes, starting with the VPFA, the Vice President for Financial Affairs and Student Fee Matters election. I am going to call for us to, well, as of right now, I have, let me try to, Michael, if you have it in front of you, that would also be helpful. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 candidates, right? So that's what we already have. They filed their intent to run. I am going to call for a motion to open up the floor for any other candidates.
Motion to open the
I'm sorry,
floor
can I do
for-
something pedantic real quick?
Ivy, go ahead, please.
I am so sorry. I'm gonna move unanimous consent to move us out of closed session.
Yes.
And then I will ask unanimous consent to allow for the continuation of our public discussion. Sorry.
Second.
I'm like going through a list. Thank you. I'm sorry.
No, you're perfect. Thank you. So there's seeing none at this time. So just moving along, and Ivy, please hold me accountable in this. So what we're gonna do is go through every name, candidates who are present. You have 45 to 60 seconds as I say your name. If you choose to speak, and if you just want to make a comment, whatever it is, but no more than 60 seconds, and I will strictly stop that. To basically, we have everyone's senior candidate statement, why you choose to run. Oh, Isabel, to that point, that's kind of what that motion was for. That unanimous motion was the floor vote. Is there anyone that we missed? I don't want to
I
go.
would like to do a floor nomination. I'm sorry, I'm a proxy and I wasn't sure if I missed it or not.
No, you're all good.
Okay. Yeah, I'm Isabel Jensen. I'm with the GVPT. I'm a proxy today. I would like to nominate Jordan Gauss Diwar. And I have a statement from Sloan, who's normally the GVP representation person. Should I read that now, or is that better for a different time?
So what we'll do actually, yeah, we could do that right now because actually, so I'm gonna call for us to close the floor nominations if there's no one else, and then we can start with that candidate statement, with that statement, Sloan's statement, that statement being the first one, and Nora.
Okay, great.
Right. So motion to close floor nominations if there isn't anyone else.
I would like to nominate someone for VPFA. Sydney Overton.
Yeah, I'm gonna accept it. I've been going back and forth all morning about it, but I will accept the nomination.
Jordan, Sydney. Anyone else? This is exciting. Seeing none, calling for a motion to close floor nominations.
Motion to close floor nominations.
Seconded, even though I said it.
Jinx.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Perfect. So what we'll do, Isabel, if you want to start with that statement, and then so what I said, start with the statement, 60 seconds max. From there, we're going to move to the next statement, so on and so forth. Actually, no. Well, if a candidate's here to speak on behalf of themselves, we will open it up for questions at that time. If not, we're going to continue to run through, and then we'll have a closed discussion on all of the candidates. Whereas if Sloan has a statement of support for anyone, if anyone has any statement of support, that is the time where we do those, make those statements.
Oh, okay. I think that I'm supposed to do that during the closed part then.
Yes.
Okay.
No, you're good. Jillian, go ahead.
Yeah, so Jordan is actually teaching at the moment and her students are doing a presentation. So she sent me her candidate statement to read on her behalf. She was on the call. She might actually still be on the call listening in while she's teaching. She's multitasking. So when it's time for Jordan to make her statement, I could read it on her behalf.
Perfect. Awesome. So Jillian, if you want to actually start, well, I'm going to Keegan, correct me if I'm wrong. Ivy, hold me accountable if I'm wrong. We need to open it up to candidate statements. Yep. Could I call for a motion?
Motion to
Motion
open
to
up
open up
the candidate
to
statements.
candidates.
Seconded.
Perfect. Jillian, you can get us started off with Jordan. And if someone can just type Jordan's name into the chat so that I can add it to the voting list, that would be perfect.
That sounds great. And yeah, Jordan, she might be able to answer questions too, depending on when her class wraps up. So this is Jordan's statement. I'm Jordan Gow-Stewart, a fifth-year GVPT student. I previously served as GVPT GSA co-chair alongside Jillian, GVPT Graduate Student Methods Chair, and the Vice Chair and Graduate Student Representative on the most recent College Park Redistricting Commission. I have a background and undergraduate degree in economics and finance, as well as training in data analytics. She didn't brag in the statement, but it is from University of Pennsylvania. If elected FPFA, I would focus my efforts on 3 key areas: centralized job postings, transparency about budget cuts, and information gathering about graduate student economic well-being. As a soon-to-be 6th year, I understand the struggle that comes with trying to navigate Workday and other existing sites containing information on GA positions. As VPFA, I would organize and create a central repository for information and job postings for graduate students not guaranteed funding from their department. This would benefit master's students seeking funding and financial support, as well as PhD students who do not have departmental funding, making it easier for graduate students across the board to continue on in their programs. I would also pursue greater transparency regarding the potential effects of budget cuts on graduate students and programs, allowing for graduate students to
I'm going to cut you there.
Okay.
Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you again. Perfect. Moving forward. Jordan isn't here at this time. Oh, Jordan is here, but does anyone have any specific questions for Jordan at this time? Also, I do want to shout out Jillian for coming through. Jordan and Isabel for coming through on Jordan's behalf. And Jordan, thank you for your teaching and your service. Seeing no questions, being super mindful. Sydney, do you care to go next?
Sure. I do not have a prepared statement, so I will just rattle off very quickly. So I've been the electrical computer engineering representative to GSG for 3 years at this point. So I have a lot of experience within this assembly, know how it's run. Aside from that, I'm very heavily involved with my department's GSA, so Graduate Student Association. Last year, I was president of that, and while it was presidency, it was more of finances and managing that budget to a lesser, I guess, scale than the GSG, but I am, again, very familiar with setting the budget, tracking the budget, all of those sorts of things. And this year, I have become increasingly interested in some of the student fee issues and how all of these budget cuts and just some of like the federal granting stuff is affecting grad students specifically who are often very not well off typically. So every dollar counts. So aware of that. That's all I'm going to do for my spiel. I got my 10-second warning.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sydney. Thank you for your continued service to this. Keegan, go ahead.
I just wanted to jump in because I know we have time. Not so much a question, just to add something that Sydney didn't. Sydney was also a member of the Constitution and Bylaws Review Committee this year. And so on top of that 3 years, she definitely also has a much better understanding of how this organization works than most.
Absolutely. High remarks for Sydney.
Also, can I share something real quick?
Brandon, go ahead.
I also wanted to share that Sydney has also received the Graduate School's Outstanding Graduate Assistant Award, which just shows her commitment to the work that she does. And I feel that once she is VPFA or if she becomes VPFA, that she would execute it perfectly and commit herself to 100%. As Keegan said, Sydney is extremely involved and has a very, very good track record and understanding of GSG things.
Perfect. Again, I just want to say that conversations and praise for any candidate, let's limit that to closed session. And any questions at this time, specifically just direct questions for the candidates during this moment. Perfect. Thank you, Sydney.
Is it
Smriti-
possible? Oh, sorry. Sorry, I should have raised my hand. Is it possible to do all the questions at the end just so we don't have to lose momentum between?
We could do that. I'm just gonna all in favor of that. Like, is that consensus?
Motion to, yeah.
Perfect. So Smrithin, I'm gonna ask you to hold that question. We could do a
No,
little.
that was exactly my question, so I'm good, thanks.
Perfect. We'll do a little forum. That'll be exciting. Start fist fighting. Sorry, let me not. Never mind. Moving on. Okay, so there were no other floor nominations. I'm going down the list that I have. So what I'm going to, if the person's here, and again, if you are a candidate, I apologize if I butcher your name. I'm doing the best I am. Don't charge my, what's the saying? Charge my head, not my heart. That's what I mean. So the first candidate for VPFA that I have in front of me is Sagar. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. And Michael, if you have a list, can you just cross-reference that list to make sure I'm looking at? Perfect. I don't see Sagar at this time. If you have questions or concerns, please view the statements that I sent out earlier. Nikhil Vishnu Bonagari is the second candidate that I see. 5 seconds. Seeing none. All candidates, please be ready if you hear your name. Crystal Najib. No. Nora, go ahead.
I talked to Crystal. Crystal is not going to run today, but she will be a representative next year. She's in my department.
She's not going to run today.
No.
She's removing her name.
Yes.
Perfect. I will remove. Moving forward, Benjamin Odofin.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Benjamin. Can
Yeah,
you
good af-
45 to 60 seconds for your statement? And as I said, we've received your statement itself, but if you want to touch on your service and your understanding of GSG, that would be the most helpful to our voting representatives.
All right, thank you, Devon. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Benjamin Odofin, and I'm a first-year MBA graduate student, majoring in finance, and very excited to step forward as a candidate for the VP Financial Affairs and Student Fee Matters. And to me, the role is not just about managing the budget; it's all about advocating for the graduate student and ensuring that every dollar of the student fee is used in a transparent and judicious manner. So, as a chairman of the Budget and Finance Committee, if elected, we actually lead with a kind of accountability, inviting a kind of open dialogue and data-driven decisions. And it's actually worth mentioning too that during my undergrad, I was actually actively involved in the student unionism, and prior to MBA, I have about 8 years of experience in finance. And I believe bringing all of this on board will help me to make kind of a remarkable impact in the GSG board. Thank you.
Thank you, Benjamin. Ivy, go ahead. Nothing?
Sorry. Yeah, we're moving all questions to the end, so I'm gonna.
Yes. So please just pin that question. Again, if anyone has any specific questions for a candidate, please pin it, and you can direct your questions to candidates afterwards. Next name that I have is Anirudh Mohan. Anirudh. Perfect. Suryateja Kanduri. Again, I apologize if I'm butchering your name. The next name I have is Karnath Thacker. Karnath Thacker. Seeing none. Simon Eunice. I see Simon's here. Simon?
Yes, sorry. Thank you so much.
You have 45 to 60 seconds. Again, just touching on your understanding.
Yes, thank you so much for the opportunity today. I'm a Master of Arts in International Relations, and I'll just go through the qualifications that I think are most relevant. I do have 4 years experience in student advocacy at UMD as part of SGA. I have 3 years of financial management as part of the Sustainability Mini Grant Coordinator for that. I have 1 year experience in SGA Financial Affairs, and I've experience running through student organization budgets as a result of that. I also have been the treasurer for 2 undergraduate student organizations and 1 graduate student organization that I'm currently involved in. And I also have arbitration experience as the former SGA head elections commissioner that I was that I fulfilled that role during the 2023 election cycle, 2024 election cycle, sorry. And I'd be more than happy to answer any questions about those qualifications or anything else.
Thank you so much, Simon. We really appreciate you coming and nominating yourself. Moving down the list, Dhruv Gupta. I feel like that's the young man that kept coming in and out of the waiting room.
Yeah, hi everyone.
Perfect. Dhruv, your time starts now.
Just a question. Is it okay if I switch off my camera because I'm at work currently?
Yeah. Sorry, what did you say?
Is it okay if I keep my camera off because I'm at work?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Okay.
Time starts now.
So hello everyone. Hello everyone. As you mentioned, my name is Dhruv Gupta and I'm running for the VP elections. As a graduate assistant and someone who has worked extensively with budgets and student records at UMD, I understand that behind every fee and funding line is a real student balancing academic, financial, and personal challenges. And my experiences at PwC sharpened my skills in financial accountability. And through my own NGO, Kayam Foundation, I have managed grassroots budgets with real world impact. I believe transparency isn't just a buzzword, it's a right. So if elected, I will ensure that every dollar spent by GSG reflects student priorities. I will advocate for responsible fee structures, push for funding equity, and keep communication with graduate student organizations active and accessible. Yeah, that's all. I think together let's demystify the numbers and make the financial system work for graduate students. Thank you.
Thank you, Dhruv, and thank you for running. Moving down the list, Rana, Ayusha. Seeing no one. Candidates, again, if you just be prepared. Chakrini Ayala Somaya Jula.
Hi everyone, I'm Chakini and I'm currently a master's in cybersecurity student background and I have background I'm mostly a technical background student and I'm running for VPFA. And firstly, I would congratulate Keegan for the presidential election. And since I came here for fall 2024, ever since then I've started working with governance committee. But I know earlier it wasn't in some other hands of people, but with the new constitution amendments, I've also made sure that I shared all of that information with my committee members. And I am now interested in running for the VPFA position. So in this position, I'm committed to overseeing the GST financial operations and also ensuring that the funding decisions reflect the diverse needs of all the graduate students. And we have a clear, to make sure that the graduate students have clear access to the GSG. And that's it. That's it about me.
Perfect. Thank you, Chakrini. Thank you for running. Going down the list, Sarth Vithal Buva. Sarth? Sarth is not present. Elizabeth Earl Botcher. I hope I'm pronouncing that
Hi,
right.
you got it pretty close.
Thank you.
So in the interest of time, when I see people who I know can do the job better than me, I do not want to compete with them and block because I think it's better for the good of the order. So because of that, I'm going to drop my nomination, and put my moral support behind Jordan.
Thank you for that, Lizzie. Thank you for that. Moving forward, Jillian Rothschild, you're next.
Nope, I withdrew because I also wanted to support Jordan, although I'd be happy to use my minute to talk more about Jordan. Actually, yeah, why not? I was allowed a minute. So yeah, I just want to keep hyping up Jordan and again talking about all of her graduate service. As you know, GVPT can't really get more people than we already have working within GSG, but she has done so much grad student service. She grew up in Tacoma Park and she has worked a lot with city council. Yeah, she is a brilliant Wharton alum. She now studies comparative politics. So she has a really academic interest in like running the fiscal health of government organizations. And I served with her for our department and we did a great job and we got a lot of reforms passed. So yeah, she'll probably be able to answer questions at 1:50 when her class ends. But I did just want to use, again, my minute to say I'm dropping out to support Jordan. And I really hope anyone who is considering voting for me instead considers voting for Jordan.
Thank you for that, Jillian, and thank you for being a tactful politician. I know the work that you do. Okay, so that is all the candidates for VPFA SFM, the official title, as you know. Posing this question to the assembly, do we want to continue this momentum and go right into VPLA candidate addresses, or do we want to pause here and ask questions? Also, there is overlap in some of the VPFA and VPLA candidates, so just want to put that out there. So calling for that motion, and that motion is continuing to VPLA or
Motion to continue.
Seconded.
Seconded.
perfect. So right now calling for a motion to open up floor nominations for VPLA.
Motion to open floor nominations.
Seconded.
Seeing none, I can ask for a call to close.
Call to close floor nominations.
Seconded.
Again, I'm going to go right down the list. And for the sake of time, those that have presented to us as VPFA candidates, I'm going to forego that minute here so that we can since you already addressed the assembly. Again, going from the top, Nikhil Vishnu Bonagari. Nope. And if Anirudh Raj Kaushik Pragada. Seeing none. Daniel Bonsu, I know you are here.
Yes, sir. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Daniel Bonsu, and I'm currently running for the VPLA position. One of my backgrounds is in political science, have had experience within the legislative branch within the Virginia House of Delegates, and I'm someone that with my background, I plan on bringing just strategic thinking, clarity, and structure to the legislative process. I've led teams facilitated across various sectors, and one of the things that I advocate for is diverse community. So trying to bring more people to be able to have their voice heard. And if elected, not only will I bring that level of professionalism there, but also just wanting to make sure that every single voice is heard within the assembly, while making sure that everything within the GSG can function as necessary to better our student experience. So that is all.
Thank you, Daniel, for presenting yourself to the assembly. Shaima Mohammed. Seeing none. Ababul Yusuf Khan. Ivy Lyons.
Hello, friends. I will use as close to 45 seconds as I possibly can. Most of you know me. If you don't know me, my name is Ivy Lyons. My pronouns are they, them. I tend to call myself your favorite they, them for a bunch of reasons, but that is neither here nor there. I am running for the VPLA position in part because I think there's a necessity in keeping structure in organizations. And I think that's something that's very easy for me. I like to consider it something that I keep in the back pocket. I am consistent in that I also very much love storytelling, but I also have been in the parliamentary scene. I've worked for Senator Dick Durbin and with his whip staff. I have worked on the Hill covering politics, but I've also been a person who's been deeply entrenched in our shared governance procedures. So, and as a matter of course, and for the ethical thing, as I hit 48 seconds, I just want to let you know I'm also not asking questions of VPLA candidates out of ethical constraint, but I appreciate your support and I'm here to answer any questions as we move forward.
Fantastic. Thank you, Ivy. Lakshmi Pravalika Adibatla. Lakshmi. Seeing none. Suryateja Kanduri. Again, I apologize if I am butchering anyone's name. I'm trying my best. Karnith Thacker. Laura Pillars. I feel like I saw Laura pop in. Is Laura here? No.
I believe she left because she had a commitment and left a short message at the beginning asking for people's support.
Got it. If I didn't see the message, if anyone saw the message and wants to read that at the end of all the candidates, that would be perfect, but I didn't see that. I just want to acknowledge that. Christopher Jackson. Christopher Jackson here, not here. Not seeing him. Venkata Madhav Tadavarthi. Yes, your time starts now.
Yes. Hi everyone. My name is Madhav and I live by Hilton. I'm currently pursuing my master's in robotics technology. I've been serving as the program representative for the past few months, and I've recently joined the Student Affairs Committee at GST. Apart from that, I also have the supervisor role at Conference and Visitor Services under Division of Student Affairs. Apart from these experiences, I bring in my experience from undergrad, working as a speaker of the Student Affiliated Council. I used to conduct general body meetings, meetings with the administration and also the executive members. I know recently we have a lot of concerns regarding the assistantships and international student visa issues and various policies regarding the federal agencies. I would like, if elected, I would like to utilize this position to be able to speak up regarding these issues. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Yeah, please vote for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for running. Thank you for your statement. Shanique Richards. Shanique, not seeing them. Lugu Rain Nicholas.
I'm right here.
Perfect. Your time starts now.
But I'm sorry about my background noise. I hope you can hear me. So my name is Lugube Nicholas. I'm a first-year master student in JPSM. That's Survey and Data Science. I love what GSG represent and the work you guys are doing. So I was contemplating how I can also be of help and render my service. And I see that what you are doing contribute to in that regard. In the sense that from Ghana, I was the SRC president in undergrad, and we've passed legislation where we're used with LGBTQ students. We've passed legislation to that effect. We've had tuition fees decreased by 5%. And so with that experience and navigating the collegiate system, I think I can also contribute in that regard. And of course, I do not claim to know everything there is. Oh, that's my time.
Your time is up.
Fantastic. Wow. I'm sorry. All right.
Thank
you. So I'll just pause here if you have any questions.
Thank you. We'll open it up for questions shortly. You already addressed, Dhruv Gupta, you already addressed it. Address the assembly. Ayusha Rana. Seeing no one. Chakrini, you already addressed the assembly. Thank you. Sarth Vathal Buva. Seeing none at this time. Lizzie, I know you pulled for VPFA. I want to give you the space here.
Yeah, I'll make a quick statement. There's a lot of good candidates. It's like this is running really cleanly. So honestly, also, I'm just really impressed. Just buttering you up, Duran. But hello, everyone. I'm Lizzie Obacher. I'm a 6-year PhD student in the Department of Government and Politics. I was a former department rep and also the VPLA back in 2022, 2023. I left partially because of burnout and partially because I had a fellowship that took me abroad for a year. So then I came back, reconnected with the campus. So as you know, this is a major change time in our legal institutions, with facing mass uncertainty for graduate students all over the country, both international and domestic, when it comes to funding, academic freedoms, basic freedoms. Oh yeah, hi Swarup, glad to see you're still here. So I've just had a lot of thoughts, and I really think the administration could do better when communicating with us so we can plan our lives. And I have more in my statement, but I think I'm running out of time. So that's all. Thanks.
Lizzie, I stopped it at 59.38. That was
awesome.
And our last candidate that I have on the list is Dina Haj Mabrouk. Perfect. So at this time, again, we are at the 1:55 p.m. mark. I do, again, want to be extremely intentional with the questions that we ask our candidates. While our candidates, most of our candidates, half of our candidates, maybe a third of our candidates are present. So please use this time wisely to ask them any questions that you may have. If it begins this kind of back and forth of this delay, assembly members, if we want to motion to go to closed session and begin discussion, that is that too. So I will allow you all to go about this. I will be the mediator in how we want to go about this, but it is up to you to ask your questions, but also move the conversation forward so that we're not sitting here going back and forth with questions. So as always, assembly members, raise your hand, introduce yourselves, and then if you have to direct a question, please do so. And if y'all don't have questions, I will be the first. Rose, go ahead.
My question is probably, Rose, neuroscience and cognitive science. My question for everyone is, what is your stance on collective bargaining for graduate workers here at UMD? And this is
Can
for
I
like,
jump
I don't
in?
know, anyone wants to jump in and talk.
Yes. Ivy Lions Journalism Studies here is a candidate for VPLA. I'm just going to simply say, if I haven't screamed about it enough in enough ways, that we are an institution that desperately needs graduate labor and also needs unionization effort of some kind. I also have a dog that is barking at another person in the room. You are stirring her up. Come here. Do silence and peace, friend. This is the dog that you get to elect if you elect me. No, I'm joking. This is not it is not germane. What I want to say is the Graduate Labor Union has a lot of the Graduate Labor Union needs support and has a lot of deep need within the university. And it is deeply important that when we have people who are leading not just the graduate student government, but leading in conversation with the administration, that they're people who want to actually get something done. And in my experience in the Senate, that means screaming at people until they finally pass a thing. That means trying to get people to understand when they're taking a heartless approach to something that requires sympathy. And that also occasionally means that when I'm in an office telling people that maybe a dog does not need to be stirred up and we can talk about union stuff instead. In all seriousness, we have so much that needs to get done. And I really think this body needs people who are willing to make stuff happen. Because we've been in a state of kind of hoping that we would be heard, and now it's kind of the time to shout at rather than to wait for somebody to save us.
Thank you for that, Ivy. I probably should have started off with this. And assembly members, please nod in agreement or disagree. Let's try to keep any responses to 20 seconds. Again, some of these conversations can't be, they're very important. But again, for time purposes, we do need assembly members to vote. If assembly members start dropping off, well, no one's going to get elected. I just want us all to understand that. Dhruv, I see your hand, so 20 seconds. That's what I'm going to ask you to limit it to. Time starts
Yeah,
now.
sure. So my stance on graduate workers at UMD is very clear. So I believe graduate workers are the backbone for the university. They teach, research, grade, advise, and support countless academic functions, often without adequate recognition or compensation. So I strongly support the fight for fair wages, accessible healthcare, transparent contracts, and real representation. So as someone who works as a graduate assistant and has first-hand experience juggling work and academics, I understand how essential it is that graduate workers are treated with dignity and respect. So yeah, I believe the university recognition is important and it's long overdue.
Thank you, Dhruv. Again, I'm just looking for head nods from the assembly. 20 seconds is what we're agreeing to, right? I don't want to be that person, but I gotta be that person. Chakrini, go ahead. Time starts now.
Yes, I just wanted to add that I've actually represented UMD's graduate student government at the USM University System Maryland's Advocacy Day. So my stance on collective bargaining is positive, and I'm pro towards it. And I feel that this is a GSG position. I think it's about a decade that, and everybody's been working for, looking to that happen for that. And as a VPFA, I would like to I would also collaborate with the SGA. Probably Reese is the lead head or the president for SGA. So I think it actually does affect the.
That is time. Thank you. Lugu, your time's gonna start now. I see your hand. I'm acknowledging your hand. Then once you unmute, your time starts. Lugu, your connection messes up. I'm gonna ask if you could put a message in the chat if we can't hear you. Lizzie.
Right. So
Lugu.
my chance, same as you said, Lugu, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so my stance is the same as every other person. I'm also a graduate assistant myself. And I think the GLUE agenda is very valid. And as a member of the Senate Council, I intend to leverage that portfolio to add my voice to what we are advocating for. And if we apply enough pressure on the administration, I'm sure we can get sympathizers from the Senate Council, and then accepted formally have reform that advocates and speaks with one voice for all graduate assistants on campus.
Perfect. And I want to, oh my goodness, sorry everyone. I'm also acknowledging in the chat too. Thank you all. I saw a motion to extend to 15 minutes to 2:15. Lizzie, again, I apologize for calling on you and going back and forth because of time circumstances. But as soon as you start talking, that's when I start the timer.
Yeah, no problem. It happens. So like everyone else, I support unionization. I just wanted to add, I have a different reason for it. This university has no good way to address when graduate research assistants or teaching assistants are sexually harassed. There is no way to deal with it in Title IX. I've been talking about it for years, and the only way we're going to get it done is if we unify and actually deal with it, because I'm tired of hearing about teaching assistants getting stalked by undergraduates, and then Title IX. Okay, sorry. Yeah, look, you get my point. Gender equality. Yeah.
Absolutely. Jordan, as soon as you start talking, 20 seconds, your time starts.
Thank you so much. I'm also very pro collective bargaining for the reasons mentioned before. There have been issues within our own department where graduate students have not been paid on time or in full, leading to immense issues with them being able to be financially stable. So I think that having a union and being recognized is the only way for graduate students to ensure that their rights are respected, and that especially graduate students that are marginalized are able to have the resources they need to get the rights they deserve.
Thank you. I also want to be respectful of the chat too. For the sake of time, please everyone refer to the chat for any miscommunication. Nora, I saw your hand.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, motion to spend up until 2:15 to finish voting for these candidates. Second.
Perfect. Awesome. And again, if anyone wants to motion.
Can I motion to go to a closed sec and do the vote?
You can.
I happily second.
Seconded as well, thirded, whatever.
So everybody also saw your hand, and I just wanted to acknowledge that hand in case it was a different motion or something that you also wanted to say.
Hi, I'm Swaroop from ENME. I just wanted to ask a quick question, but if it's not necessary, we can move on to the closed session also.
Since we already did go to closed session, or since
let's go to the closed session. It's fine.
Absolutely, and it's a majority from what I'm seeing, so that's why I would just do that. So everyone, candidates, thank you all so much for joining. We are now taking this discussion into closed session where we will discuss this further and vote. For the same thing that we did in the beginning, I'm going to send you all to breakout rooms. Please help me along as we do this. I'm gonna, oh man, let's see. Okay, who's not a program rep? This person. Maybe I'll figure it
For Ivy and I, are we gonna be able to be part of the closed session for our separate? I didn't know if I could be in for BPLA and then switch Ivy in for BPA, but it's totally fine. If not, totally good.
Actually,
I realize conflict of interest.
Yeah, in the past, that's how it's worked, where as long as it's not your session, you've been able to vote.
Okay.
That's a fantastic note that you just made. Because I did separate the votes. It's not the same exact ballot. So starting with VPFA, Sydney, see you later. Ivy, hang out. Yeah. Thank you. Madav, you also are just.
Yes. I was supposed to ask, like, yeah, I am running for the VPLA, so I can stay for VPFA. Yeah.
You are right.
Thank you.
Of course. Is everyone? Sorry, guys. This is what happens when trying to figure out how technology works. That's why I'm an HR person. I like human soft feelings. That's what I do. I'm an education guy. Assign. Let's do that. Not Devon, Anastasia, Trakini, Jillian, Jordan, Lizzie, Lugu, Simon, Daniel. That looks right. Send, send. Open all rooms. I think that's how it works, right? Please join your room if possible. Everyone. Lugu, you still need to join.
You gotta invite me to one too.
Oh, yes, Sydney, thank you. See you on the other side, Sydney. Perfect. Who else? Lugu. Keegan, I'm gonna ask if people aren't moving on their own. Can we throw them in the waiting room, please? Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's the easiest option.
So soft feelings, not software. Oh man. Okay, that is everybody, right? Everybody. Looks good to me. Again, this is a space I'm going to be a third party mediator in all of this. I want to hold y'all. Again, y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what time you were supposed to end. So this is a discussion for you. I do want to start off strictly by taking my my hat off and saying Sydney has been incredible. And even the committees and Mike's been on my community development committee last year. Sydney's always been somebody that's been active in the work that she does. So I do want to shout her out on that. But that's all. Again, I'm cutting it here. So floor is yours.
Yeah, hi. So I'm going to agree with you on that. Of all the interviews, of all the statements we heard, I feel like Sydney, in my opinion, is the best candidate for this. The other one which came close was Chakrini, and the other people, I got a lot of job interview vibes from them, so I'm not going with that. Yeah, that's all from my side.
Isabel.
Hi, yeah, I just wanted to read Sloane's statement about Jordan who's running. She said, "Hello, everyone. I'm sorry I can't be here today, but I wanted to share a few words supporting Jordan's nomination for VPFA. I have been a member of this body for the past 2 years and have seen how important it is to be diligent and thoughtful in leadership on the executive board. I think Jordan embodies the qualities GSG needs in its leadership to succeed. I've seen her diligent work through her role as vice chair of College Park Redistricting Commission, as well as her thoughtful approach to her role as our department's GSA representative. She knows her way around financial matters and cares deeply about making sure graduate students are heard and supported. I know she'd be a great mind and a steady hand to the role of VPFA. I fully support her nomination and I ask for your support as well. Thank you, Sloan.
Thank you for that, Isabel, and thanks Sloan on our behalf. Sloan has always been incredible to this assembly for years.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah. Ivy.
Thank you all. I just want to say that it might be good to keep in mind as you're looking at these candidates. Some of them strike me from a quick glance at their digital footprint in the university. They strike me as people who may not be around for the full year. This is not like a dig at anybody, just being aware of where specifically some of the master students are. The 3-year MBAs that are on this list, they all look like they're actually likely to finish sometime in the fall, which could be is an issue for their eligibility. I don't know that for a fact. It's just something to keep in mind. And of course, for what it's worth, I am like really throwing a lot of support behind Sydney and Jordan, who I've seen their work for so long that I feel like it's just common sense to say like a good slate of candidates is here.
Thank you, Ivy. Again, y'all can continue the discussion. Y'all can motion to vote. y'all can even say, hey, do we want to come together as a team? And we're torn between two candidates. So I just want to use this space wisely. Nora, go ahead.
Hi. So I know Sydney, I've worked with her before on the DEI committee. I know she's super dedicated to GSG, and I am torn between knowing a lot of also very dedicated people to GSG vouching for Jordan. So I think Sydney's a really great person that I know personally, but Jordan seems to be coming with a lot of accolades from other people that I also trust their judgment on, which makes it difficult for me to choose between the two for VPFA. And I would like to vote soon because I have to leave.
Thank you for that, Nora.
I'd like to motion to vote.
Seconded.
Perfect. I am launching the poll. Again, these are in the order of how I received the candidate. So again, if Sydney and Jordan were recently, they're going to be more so at the bottom. Just an FYI, launching that poll. What is the sweet spot that I'm looking for? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 is about that sweet spot that I'm looking for. We're currently sitting at 12, 13. Keep it open for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, perfect. End poll. Congratulations, Sydney. Ivy, when I send you out, when I banish you, please don't expose this news to anyone. But yeah, so again, this is exciting news. Again, this was a super competitive race. Again, it's always a difficult time. So again, I want to appreciate all of you for the work that you do. Oh, I didn't even share results. These are results, as you can see. So that's what we're looking at. What we typically might do is publish the percentage, not necessarily the number of votes. And that's if that's what we choose to do in presenting the numbers. But stop sharing. Quickly going to switch Ivy over and bring Sydney back. Yeah, and then we'll have discussion. So moving Sydney and then Ivy, I'm sending you over. Perfect. We are good. Again, discussion starts now. It is up to.
Sorry.
Oh, yes. Sorry, Madhav. Thank you for that. That could have been awful. Thank you. No.
Yeah, I should have just voted for me.
You got jokes. You got jokes. Get him out of here. Sorry. Yeah, so discussion, and then if you guys want to just run into a vote, y'all do that. So go ahead.
Yeah, hi. I'm going to endorse my support for Lizzie because I have worked with her before on multiple resolutions, and I trust her and I like her passion for all of this, and she's very well. She knows how to write all of these things and work in this regard pretty well. So yeah, that's all from myself.
Lizzie withdrew just before this started in the chat.
Oh wait, she did?
Yeah. She said that she appreciated it, but she also thought that that I think she endorsed Ivy. If I scroll up, yes, I think Ivy would be great, and then I would drop. I thought their thing was great. I literally just wanted to bring up gender inequality, so it's not forgotten about.
Oh wow. Thank you for that acknowledgement.
But in the chaos of the chat, yeah.
And I have to find another one. Okay.
Does anyone want Michael, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that I think Ivy has been really great. They've been off and on being able to participate in assembly meetings. Usually, I think always like either sending someone or letting us know. But I've worked with Ivy. Ivy's in the University Senate and runs and has chaired the Senate Student Affairs Committee this year. And so they've like run all of those meetings like very, very well, clearly knowing Robert's rules better than I could ever imagine. And just like a really involved and thoughtful person who like has a lot to give. And I think that it would be in GSG's best interest to elect them.
Motion to vote.
Seconded.
Seconded.
Perfect. I'm going to,
Second.
right before I launch the poll, I'm making that edit to reflect Lizzie dropping out. Again, there's probably, I think there's 20 or 19 names on this list, so please do a thorough dive in your vote. And I think, again, it might be 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yep, 14 is that sweet number that I'm looking for. And we're at 14. This is incredible. Share results. As you can see, congratulations, Ivy. For the purpose of time, we're not going to do any thank you speeches or anything. I'm going to open this back up and acknowledge the results. The last thing, we have two last things on the agenda. I do want to be super respectful of your time. One of the last things outside of Representative Forum was a statement by me. It was just going to be a thank you for an incredible year. So if you do want to hear me blap, I do want to ask if anyone wants to motion to open.
Motion to hear Devon blap.
Seconded.
Thank you. Perfect. So I'm gonna open it up, open the floodgates. I'll keep it very short, very brief. Close all rooms. Make that announcement. Admit people. Thank you, Nora. Keegan, Brandon, also, you should talk to Brandon because Brandon has a quote book of everything that I've said in my life.
Keegan, I have incredible Devon quotes.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, Ivy, there's a quote book of me. So quickly going forward, again, we extended the meeting. I quickly want to share out the results. We are just strictly going by names. So guys, we're just going. I'm trying to keep up with the chat. So for Vice President for Financial Affairs and Student Fee Matters, congratulations to Sydney Overton. You are going to be the VPFA SFM for the 45th Assembly. So huge congratulations to you. For the Vice President for Legislative Affairs, congratulations to Ivy Lyons. This is incredible. And then my last, as we all know, for President for the 45th Assembly, Keegan Clemens Hauser is going to be, he is the President-elect. He's going to be President next year. Again, thank you to everyone that ran a successful campaign. I encourage everyone to stay on. The last few things that we have on the agenda, I'm giving my final VPLA address. So just jumping out, nothing formal, nothing crazy. I just want to thank you all that have been here for this journey, for this year specifically, but also last year. I think I came in as an incoming master's student that had no idea what I was doing, that was fascinated by institutional structures and the University of Maryland. And in my experience, I've been involved with legislation. I've been involved with all these things. Autumn, Jillian, like these were individuals that really pushed me and believed in me. Sydney, Mike's still here. Y'all were my go-to people on our community development committee when we did it. I don't even know what we accomplished, but y'all were my people. Nora with diversity. Like there's so many people I want to give credit to. Keegan, I vouched for you on so many occasions. Michael and I, we've done the heavy lifting to make sure that we could be a successful team. And I think not every time was perfect. It certainly wasn't, but we did what we can. And I'm extremely grateful for these opportunities that we've had. We've come together with the support of a tremendous assembly. This 44th assembly has encouraged me to be the best version of myself in every aspect of life. So I'm truly grateful for each and every one of you. I won't be a stranger. None of y'all should be a stranger to me either. So I'm excited to see all the great things that you are doing. And to Swaroop's point, congratulations to all the outgoing GSG Assembly members. We have accomplished a lot, and there's still so much more to do. But I'm excited to see all of you thrive in the real world and thrive in life in general. With that being said, there's our final event from 6 to 8 tonight, Terp Zone. Keegan touched on that, but I hope all of you can attend. But thank you all for being great. And it's up to y'all to close out the meeting or go in a representative forum. But I yield the floor.
Yeah, I'll just say to everybody who's graduating, congratulations. I know we have some people leaving GSG that have been here for far longer than I have, so congrats to finishing up grad school.
Y'all could motion to end the meeting too. That's a thing. Thank you, Sydney.
Motion to end the meeting.
Seconded.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
223.
Bye, all.
We'll send off. I'll be around if you all need anything.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thanks so much.
Good luck, Charlie.